Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Long Coat Mafia Podcast, the internet's most hated mafia-themed geek podcast. Flying solo for the most part this week, it is I, the Reverend Godfather, the show's main host and frontman. This week I bring you, first off, a interview, and I think you'll like it. It is kind of a interview I wasn't really expecting to get, but I got it anyway. It stems from Otakon, and this interview is with the Baltimore chapter of a great organization called Extra Life. So I'm going to step back and let you hear that interview, and I'll see you guys and gals on the other side, and we'll get to the rest of the meat and potatoes of this episode. Okay, folks, I am here with one of the fellows behind the I won't say a website, this is the organization. I'll let him talk about a little bit and who he is. You might have heard me mention his name in the introduction. The organization is Extra Life. Their website is extra-life.org. Link will be in the show description. Go ahead, tell our listeners who you are and who you represent.
Well, hi there, everybody. My name is Drew, and I'm here representing Extra Life. First off, I just wanted to thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate you giving me a chance to help spread the word about Extra Life, because it's really one of the best charities that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. And what Extra Life is, it's a charity that raises money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals through gaming. The way that works is we host a gaming marathon every year in the fall. This year, the marathon is on November 2nd. That's our big game day. And it works very similar to like Walk for Life or Relay for Life or something like that, where you sign up, you get your page on the website, you get friends and family to pledge and donate and sponsor you, and then all of the money that you raise goes to the Children's Miracle Network hospital of your choice. And you can play any game imaginable, video games, board games, card games, doesn't matter what kind of game, you can play any game, anywhere, and at any time. It's really just about customizing your experience, having fun, and raising money for a great cause.
That was kind of the few questions I was going to ask up a little bit later. Main question, next question. I'm getting ahead of myself. I do apologize for that.
No worries.
I want to say this. I think I discussed this with the email with you initially to let the listeners know. Back when Otakon hit a few weeks ago, as of this recording, I met up with a couple of your representatives that had a table at Otakon in their gaming room. I'm not knocking them. They were very polite and everything else. They're very courteous. As I might have stated in my email, and to listeners out there, I would have loved to interview these guys, but there was a gaming machine, arcade type gaming machine, that would have been behind us, maybe about 50 or so feet, blaring Rick Ashley's "Never Gonna Give You Up." Even though it would have been funny for the interview, I'm not knocking the charity, but it's that whole aspect of trying to get a decent interview with "Never Give You Up" in the background, and it's just one of those things that if I post, this show gets automatically posted to YouTube when I post up to everybody else, and it's just, I didn't want that claim or strike or anything like that. It's like, you know what, let's just do the formalities. If nothing comes of it, oh well, ever. But a few weeks later, Drew contacted me and it's like, let's do this, let's hammer out the details, and I thank Drew for that. But
yeah, no worries. I totally understand. It's really hard to conduct an interview with Rock Band playing on like giant 15-foot stadium speakers right next to you.
Like I said, I'm not knocking anything in regards to that. It's like, all right, let's exchange information and let's see what happens. And for the most part, I kind of put it off for a while. It's like, no, again, not knocking the charity at all. It's like, we're a small time show. I'm just going to put it off to the side. And all of a sudden, ping, Extra Life. That name rings a bell. And it was like, oh, okay, that's cool. To kind of get back on track, even though, do you know how Extra Life got started?
I do, actually. So 2008 is when Extra Life was founded. It was originally inspired by a young woman named Victoria Enman, who unfortunately lost her battle with leukemia in January of 2008, but she inspired this group of gamers in Houston, Texas, to raise money for the children's hospital that was treating her, which was the Texas Children's Hospital. They raised over $300,000 in their first session between 2008 and 2009, and they had immediately there was a huge response from the gaming community, and people wanted to know how they could get involved. Initially, it was just this small group of people who were doing the marathon, and following that, they established the charity. They opened it up to people to register online, and since then, in 2014, they passed 100,000 participants, and this past year, in 2018, they passed the $50 million mark for money raised for Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and that's across all hospitals, all 170 of them. And specifically in 2018, they raised over $13 million.
Wow, that's nice to hear. One of my I guess it also answers the question I had in kind of my bank to ask you. It was like, why Children's Miracle Network? So because of the person that so sadly passed away from leukemia, and it kind of grew from there. And because that's one of the things I ask, because I know there are a lot of other, I don't want to say organizations similar to yourself, but I'm sure there's a lot of other people who do similar things like you on a personal level. So that's what kind of clicked with me with your organization. So I will ask, I take it Twitch, streaming services like Twitch and Mixer have made things a little bit easier for your organization in recent years?
Yes, actually since 2012, Twitch and other broadcasting platforms have offered tools. I think Twitch has now one of their built-in tags that you can add to your stream that's actually Extra Life, so you can tag your stream as an Extra Life stream. And they always have promotions, and they have some Extra Life streams featured on the homepage on game day. So Twitch has been a huge partner for Extra Life in helping us spread the word and just raise awareness and get people watching these marathons. Even though only about 10% of participants stream their marathon on Twitch, it's definitely not required if you decide to participate. But that's where we get some of the biggest visibility from organizations like Rooster Teeth, who alone raise over $1 million for Extra Life the past couple years.
Now, I know you said all games are pretty much okay to play, but what if someone wants to play, like, let's use an upcoming game, like Borderlands 3 or Call of Duty. That is okay with... I'm not knocking your company's or the organization's decision, but there are, I'm sure, a lot of games out there that might not be family friendly. I guess what I'm trying to ask is those streamers that want to help raise funds that might not be completely family friendly can join in to help raise funds as well.
Yes, it's really up to each participant to decide how they want to do their game day. There are channels that get featured on the official Extra Life channel, and those games are usually, 18 or below. They're more family friendly, but there's plenty of streamers and participants who are playing offline that choose to play more mature games. It's really just about how you want to do it, what you have fun playing, and what's going to, generate the biggest response from your backers and from the people who are funding you.
I see too, and if I'm getting this straight, so if somebody wants to do, let's say, a D&D session, or a group of people wants to do a D&D session to help raise money, they could take it to almost to the extreme as they want to see fit. But since it's not being streamed, they could still raise money for your organization and still have as much fun on their end as they see fit. So you're trying to make it as a win-win scenario as much as possible.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. That being said, how do people become a part of Extra Life if they want to help raise funds?
If you want to join Extra Life as a participant, you can just go to extra-life.org. There's a big button right on the homepage that says sign up. It just takes a couple minutes, a couple fields you need to fill out. You get hooked up with your own page on the Extra Life website, and then you send that link to your page out to friends and family. They will donate and pledge to support you directly through the website, so you don't have to handle any money yourself. It all goes directly through the Extra Life website, and then 100% of the funds that you raise go to the Children's American Network Hospital of your choice. So if you sign up, there's over 170 different Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and if you sign up, you get to pick which hospital you want to represent. So, like, I'm from the Baltimore area, so all of the money that I raise goes to the Johns Hopkins Children's Center here in Baltimore.
So I guess that's one of the questions I should have asked earlier. There are other chapters across the United States.
Yes. So, just to clarify, I'm the president of the Baltimore Extra Life Guild. And each Extra Life Guild is fairly autonomous. We're all volunteers. We are mostly focused on going to events like Otakon, like MagFest, where we can set up a table and just tell people about Extra Life, raise awareness, and if people are interested, we get people signed up to participate right there at the table. So we are more of an awareness and recruiting focused side. The guilds are, and there are guilds all across the United States.
So, folks, across the United States that might be hearing this episode one way or another, for the exception of Wyoming, because to us Wyoming does not exist. I can only say that because according to our user our end analytics, we haven't had a listener in Wyoming, so I make
a first time for everything,
right? So it's like, I make joke of it, folks. For those of there who are raising money through Extra Life and doing their part in Wyoming, we wish you the best and everything else, but we have to make at least some jokes on our end. I do appreciate Drew coming in and telling us about Extra Life, but not only are you said you were the president of the Baltimore chapter. Granted, you've some way participated in this. Have you streamed to help raise funds yourself?
Yes, I have been streaming my Extra Life marathons for, I think, the past 4 years now.
Well,
Yeah.
It's like I can always say, like, oh, what? So that's almost about as long as we've been up and running. So it is. I'm sure it's been a load of fun on your end to stream and.
Help, it's every year. It's one of the days of the year I look forward to the most. The 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning hour can be a bit of a struggle, but all in all, it's a total blast. I love doing it every year, and it's always fun to try and come up with ways to figure out how I can, top what I did last year.
So, one more thing. The traditional streamer, I'm sure, granted, you said that it's a lot of online through Twitch and through private fundraisers, but I'm not sure exactly. You might be the one to exactly ask this question. Um, is the Twitch streams that are broadcast the traditional Twitch streams, which is the gameplay with the person in the corner, or can they be the full screen play?
I've seen both. I personally do my streams with the webcam in the corner, just so my the people who are donating to me can see the circles under my eyes, and late at night, and you can sort of track my progress throughout the day. But I've also seen Extra Life streamers who do just the full screen gameplay style Twitch stream as well.
The reason why I kind of asked that is if one of my listeners is wondering if they could do theirs full screen or with the webcam type of ordeals. So,
yeah. So Extra Life on the official website, they do provide like a media kit and tools to help people who want to stream. There are some official Extra Life overlays and like commercial break style videos that they have available for participants. So they really make it super easy. If you're not familiar with Twitch streaming and you want to get into it, they make it really, really easy to just jump in and participate in whatever capacity you want to.
No problem. I think that is... Oh, I hear a puppy. So I just want to quickly scroll over the website, make sure I've covered everything. I'm sure there is... pretty much looks like you pretty much covered a lot of the stuff, the about, and...
I guess one thing that I should probably also clarify, I know I mentioned that I personally do a 24-hour marathon, but that is in no way, shape, or form an absolute requirement. It's just something that I like doing. A lot of people will do the marathon on game day, but if you sign up, your page is live all year round. As long as you let the people who are donating to support you know when you're going to be playing, you can play it over a couple different days. You could do a different makeup weekend if you're busy on November 2nd. So it's really whatever fits your schedule, as long as you let your supporters know what you're going to be playing.
Okay, that's good to know. And I see that I'll provide the links in our show description for the folks who wish to follow you guys on social media. I'm seeing Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and there's this one weird looking icon I can't really figure out. It looks like a game controller. I'm clicking on that. Oh, Discord. I'm sorry. I'm not really...
Oh, this Discord. Okay.
And one that has a Wi-Fi link. Your community. Looks like you have a... it just looks like a link to your community page, which is Community Hub, discussions, downloads, the About experience, and getting involved. So, I just wanted to make sure. I'm trying to cover everything. So, yes, and it's available according to the website, English, Spanish, and French. For those, I guess, Canadian Americans.
Right, yes, because there are hospitals in Canada as well.
So, the experience and the community. Okay, that's pretty much... if you want to promote anything else, I'll let you do that right now.
No, Extra Life is just what I was here to promote and try and raise some awareness about.
I think you did a good job about that.
Thank you.
There's not much I could really ask you. I do this just to let you and the listeners know, there will be stuff after this interview, so stick around for that. There's a lot of stuff that we want to get into. I want to thank Drew for being a part of this interview. So stick around, folks, for the rest of it. Drew's interview, as you see, was the first thing on this week's episode. So please stick around for the rest of the episode. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Drew from the Baltimore chapter of Extra Life. And to kind of segue into our next topic, which is kind of showing some support to Otakon once again and tossing shade towards our arch nemesis of Awesome Con, and kind of telling you what happened with Baltimore Comic Con. That's right, we're going to be talking about a little bit about 3 different cons right now. Kind of one of which has been showing love to us for the past couple of years. One of which has kind of, I won't say showing us a little bit hate, or been kind of distancing themselves from us, or not really wanting us to give them any attention. But one show that kind of wants us to give them attention. Now, let me kind of give you all some context. A few weeks ago, I wasn't really paying, any attention to Baltimore. I wasn't really thinking of going to Baltimore this year. But everybody's been kind of bugging me and asking me, it's like, are you going to be covering Baltimore this year? And up until recently, I said, sure, why not? And the deadline, or say the cutoff to put in for a press pass, is September 7th, which is, I think, 2 weeks away, give or take. Now, or I should say, depending on when you hear this. If you hear this past September 7th, then it already passed. But as of this recording, it's September 7th, and it's about 2 weeks away, give or take. And and like I said, I was tossing around the idea of putting in for a press pass. And everybody pretty much said that I should go ahead, do it. What do you got to lose? And I figured, you know what? They're right. They don't. But I will say this. I put in the application, and I'm bringing up their response. And pulling it up where it is. There it is. I put in for it. The response I got was pretty much ultra quick. I want to say within about a half an hour. Hour at tops. Now, I don't know if the person that the person that responded was the man behind Baltimore himself, but even still, I put in for it. The application process, the reason why I'm bringing up Otakon and Awesome Con, even though I'm showing one love, the only one a little bit of hate and salt, but their application process is basically the same. Putting your name, the person that's pretty much requesting the past, your role, the name of the organization, what type of organization are you, meaning are you a blog, a podcaster, a YouTuber, etc., 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 give examples of your work, what's your website, what's your email, what's your phone number. Now, I'm not dissing Baltimore at all. I'm just explaining you the application process we go through as a show. And Baltimore's was a little bit different. It was just name, first name, last name, email address, name of your organization, and there was a big empty block saying, we want to hit you to give us your history, links to why we should, give you a press pass, things that are relevant, roles that, are, for those of you in your organization. So I tried to do that. Now, things could have been worded probably better because I'm not used to this type of application. And because also Baltimore allows 2 press passes, I included my role, meaning that in essence I'm the editor, I'm the producer, I'm the main host and the front man, and I included Big Candy. I have to give at least put him in there just in case they want to give him one as well. And I mentioned that he's my main co-host, and I gave the links. And like I said, I think everything could have been worded better. I gave a bunch of links. The links to our walkthroughs to the ECBRO Second Annual Bigfoot Con, Otakon, all 3 videos of Otakon. I think I included a walkthrough of 4 State. Plus, I gave for audio, and sample interview that we done at 4 State. I think it was a Monique Dupree interview. Plus, I gave a ton of links of our con, our convention coverage that we've had, and like I said, after that, I thought things would go well. I wasn't really expecting a response right away. I was maybe expecting a week or so, if not closer to mid-September. Pretty much how things go with, or things have went with Awesome Con in the past, that took about a month and a half, even though they told us no. And the opposite end of the spectrum, about the same thing with Otakon, about a month and a half, before they told us pretty much yes. But this response was pretty much an hour, tops, half hour to an hour tops. And their response was as follows. I'll give it to you word for word. It disappointed me, and it had me kind of shocked and everything else. Let me read it to you. It said, "Hi, Godfather. Unfortunately, we will be unable to grant you a press pass to this year's show, but you're welcome to attend the show in a press capacity with the purchase of tickets, and do so as much." Let me reread that. "And do as much reporting / photography / audio and video recording as you please." And in parentheses, "so long as your subjects do not object." Signed, Randy, Baltimore Comic Con Executive Staff. Now, I bring up that email. Like I said, that email shocked and disappointed me, and it encouraged me, because here is where I'm going to toss a little shade towards Awesome Con. Now, if Awesome Con said in their emails the same thing Randy said in this, I'd be statistically less pissed, less salty at Awesome Con than I am at this. Significantly less. The reason why I said, at least with this email, Randy is telling me, or I should say Baltimore Comic Con is telling me, hey, we can't, for whatever reason, we can't grant you a press pass this year. Now, what that means is like how I worded things was poor. What I presented to Baltimore was poor. Was it the time frame was off? I should have done it way earlier. Was it when they looked at things, my numbers were way too low, or we had too few episodes? Either way, we were denied. Whatever it was, we were denied. But here's the but thing. When I read between the lines, it kind of told me. Now, if you want to chime into what you think, you could easily do so by sending us an email at longcoatmafia@gmail.com, or leaving us what you think in the pin post on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/The Longcoat Mafia Podcast, or what have you. You're more than welcome to do so. But when I look at it, it's like it was Baltimore saying, you don't have, in the past year or so, any Baltimore content. You didn't come to Baltimore. Why didn't you come to Baltimore? We want to see how you cover. We see how you cover for a 4-state event. We see how you cover a Bigfoot convention. We see how you cover Otakon. But we want to see how you cover Baltimore Comic Con. We want to see how you cover us. And that's what to me this email is saying. We want you to buy a ticket. We can't give you a free pass. We're not going to give you a free pass. But you're more than welcome to cover it in a press capacity, as long as if you're, let's say we want to talk to Billy Tucci or one of the many other wonderful guests that are at Baltimore this year. We ask, or any of the dozens of independent artists that are at Baltimore, and we ask, they say yes, we get an interview. We get that interview. Or if we want to take photographs of the cosplayers or the people we meet at Baltimore, we're more than welcome to, as long as they say yes. Same thing goes with any video stuff that we take at Baltimore. As long as they say okay and they're cool with it, we can do that. We've done that with 4-state events. We've gone there, bought a ticket, and covered it. Several times, I think 2 or 3 times we've done that. And we were more than welcome to do that. And because 4-state knows who we are as an organization, we've gone away with a lot of stuff. But and we thank 4-state for that. But that's where I say this, and I give Awesome Con, that salt, that shade, because they were like, you're more than welcome to buy a ticket. Now, if as he's been on the show several times, as Lloyd has said it, it's not what you meant, it's what you said. Awesome Con, if you're listening, again, it's what you said, not what you meant. Meaning, if your folks on your press aspect, in whatever way, when they denied us, said, you're more than welcome to buy a ticket and cover our show as press, with limitations of getting interviews from the celebrities, but you're able to cover it as somewhat press, I would have less shade thrown at you. Significantly less shade. As far as I'm concerned, though they denied us, though Baltimore said no, and they said it politely, unfortunately, we can't grant you. You know what? I wasn't expecting a yes. And I'll probably be tagging Baltimore in this episode when I post it up. I wasn't expecting a yes. And I emailed them. It's like, I expected, it's like, I figured that you'd say no, but I thanked them for the opportunity and the opportunity and respect and the permission to cover it as much as we can as a show capacity. Because kind of, in a way, I want us to stand out that when we apply next year, that, hey, we not only did we cover it, here's what we covered, but we, like, wait a minute, that guy sent us a thank you letter. Maybe we should give him a chance this time around. So, that's on my end. It looks like this next month, mid-September, I'll be buying our Baltimore, at least my Baltimore ticket. I think Big Candy's going too. So we'll go. Probably on the way back, we'll have a on-the-road review, or if we stop at like a McDonald's or something like that when Baltimore happens, or we stop at a whatever place to get a bite to eat. If we get a bite to eat on the way home, we'll do a quasi review, what our thoughts, because we haven't been there since 2016. So we'll do that interview. The video might be in 2 parts, 3 parts, because Baltimore's way bigger than both Otakon, and it's way, I should say, more condensed than Otakon, and there's more to see, more people to talk to, especially in Artist Alley. So I might do a section with just the dealers, and a section with just the artists, and a section with just the Artist Alley. So there might be 3 videos coming off of that just on the floor alone. So we'll see with that how that falls, and there might be some interviews. I'll see who I could speak to at this event with that, so that our initial review and our thoughts on Baltimore, we will have that, and we want to show Baltimore that we're able to step up to the plate like I hope that they're referring to here and in their email. Now, I'm going to say this. Next year, if they deny us again, but tell us the same thing. Tell us the same thing, that you're more than happy to buy a ticket and cover it as press as much as you can, as long as you're polite and kind and they say yes, you're able to cover it as much as you can. I'm okay with that. I am honestly okay with that, because they're telling me that even though I'm a small fish in a big pond, huge pond, that they're more than willing to tell me that, you know what, we want you to cover it, but our press passes are geared towards like the Baltimore Sun and the local TV stations and the radio stations. But we still want you to cover it. We still want you to cover it. We want the promotion. We want you to step up. We want you, to give us that experience, to give us that coverage. And even that I'm somewhat okay with. I'm gunning for that press pass, but they're telling me that they still want me to cover it as press. Says a hell of a lot more from Baltimore than it does from Awesome Con. So, even that, when next year there might be words. I'll probably be digging that hole deeper with Awesome Con next year. So we'll see about that. And to kind of move on with the con theme with this is that I've been hearing word about this kind of a new con. It's been out. This is their second year. As of this recording, is their second year. It's Keystone Comic Con in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It takes place in their convention center in Philadelphia. Now, they have some decent guests, but let me pull up not just what I've been hearing, tell you what I've been hearing, but I had to ask that some of their guests. I want to say this: their biggest guest is Tom Holland. That's right, Spider-Man himself. And I am bringing up the website. Got to type it in. I should have prepared this prior to the show starting, but still, I should have brought it up. I got high-speed internet, like most of you. The thing is, other than Tom Holland, their guest list is kind of, geared to my generation, or those maybe closer to Big Candy's generation. And because, let's see, like I said, Tom Holland is their biggest guest, and he's only there Sunday. I can't verify how many people will be showing up on Sunday because of Tom. I don't know how if this is true, or if this is just to get more people to their show. I've heard various things about, mostly good, some bad. Not many bad to weren't mentioning here on the show, but like I said, their guests, you have James and Oliver Phelps. These are the twins that appeared in Harry Potter movies. Also Bonnie Wright. She's also from Harry Potter. She's the only Weasley girl that attended Hogwarts. So her name escapes me. Yeah, I'm losing my Harry Potter cred, so excuse me. You have a few Star Trek people. You have like LeVar Burton and Nichelle Nichols from the original series, and you have I think also they don't have their guest list. Their guest list is like deeply unorganized. They have because there's the other one. Halfway down the list, almost all the way down the list, is Marina Sirtis from Star Trek: The Next Generation, and Michael Dorn from Next Generation. Now, the thing is, the other person that they have that is from like the age of the 90s is I'm not knocking this gentleman, but is Jason David Frank, the original Green Power Ranger. Now, granted, we've covered the Power Rangers here on the show many times in the past, but the thing is, we have some of the folks here. Really, it's like I didn't know about this person, Jennifer Hale. Let me bring up her IMDb here. DB. The thing is, yes, I'm doing this in real time. I'm doing it live. I'm doing it live, folks. The thing is, really, there's like 3 different Jennifer Hales here. And the person that I think they are referring to, because I think the photo is a little out of date, but I think it's the person is the voice actress that did Mass Effect 3, but they don't have... Here's the thing, like with Jason David Frank, they have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, meaning that they have several credits for each person. But when it comes to Jennifer Hale, it's like autographing, panels, photo ops. What did she do? What did she do? And they have a few voice actors here, like Jeremy Shada or Sato. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. They have him listed as Adventure Time, Voltron, Mr. Student, Body President. I think they don't have him listed as a voice actor. They don't say it. They just list his credits. Where someone like Awesome Con, to give them credit, they would say voice actor, and they'll list the credits. They also have here, what was funny, I'll say this. I was giving them a little bit shade last night because they had Nolan North. I want to bring it up. Now, here's the other thing. They have Daryl DMC Daniels, one of the founders of Run DMC. The only people that would know or remember DMC is my generation. My generation. I'm not knocking DMC in any way. They were a great rap band. They were literally OG. A couple of OG rappers back in the day. But, still, I think he does comics, but they list him as, like, they're promoting him as Run DMC. Really? Who's going to be seeing him as Run DMC or remember him as Run DMC? But apparently he's been doing comics lately. If that's what he's been doing, great. That's awesome. Here it is. Nolan North. For those of you who don't know, Nolan North, or that name, he is a major voice actor in the gaming community. He's done a lot of stuff. He's mostly known for Uncharted, and he replaced the original voice actor in Destiny for the Ghost. But here's the thing. They listed Nolan North, not for the voice actor for Uncharted, but the voice actor. They don't even say voice actor. They just say, you might know him from Uncharted. Really? You couldn't even copy-paste. You couldn't copy-paste his IMDb cred to your website. You didn't have anybody to check whether or not it was spelled correctly and go, Tommy, you do realize he voice acted in Uncharted, not Uncharted, right? So, they didn't have that? Really? Also, Troy Baker, they could have done way better. Just, like I said, Awesome Con does way, way better. It's nice that they have folks from I want to say this. There, when you click on the photos for each of their guests, it has, like, I just clicked on Bonnie Wright. You'd expect a little bit of a bio for her when you click that photograph. Awesome Con, I think, does it. Not Baltimore. Otakon definitely does. They give you a bio. Literally, they give you a bio for that particular celebrity that's going to be at their show. Keystone, nah, screw it. Do your own damn research. Who it is. You don't know what Uncharted is? Do your own research. Now, apparently, okay, let me give you a couple of rumors. Let me give you the first rumor. I've heard rumors that because the show is going on this weekend, as of this recording, I'll give you the update about what happens on Sunday, because I know somebody that's going to this tomorrow to see a few people. He has a few people on that he wants to get photos with and autographs from and everything else. So I'll get to Sunday. I'll probably let you guys know next week. It'll be probably an abbreviated episode next week, because I'll get into that a little bit later. But still, but what I heard a little bit was that yesterday, Friday the 23rd, that there was only about 200 people that came through the door total of on Friday. So I had to do a little digging in regards to that, because it was just a rumor. I asked somebody, I want to say she helped out in the show, or she helped the show in a way, and she was on the show, I think a few years ago. I want to say about 2 years ago, maybe 3, and that is Lady J Cosplay, because she was helping run a booth at Keystone Comic Con. So I asked her, how was it? Heard it was practically a ghost town attendance-wise on Friday. And just to see what her thoughts on, because she's there, and she'd have a good view of what's been happening and how it was. And her response was, our booth was constantly busy. It was a ton of people today, but a nice amount where you could shop and look in peace. I had a great time. I guess it came, like in most shows, it came in waves, but it allowed her to give a chance, depending on, I guess, how many people were helping out of the booth, that she was able to step away for a little while and do some shopping. So, all in all, it looks like she had a good time, but there was busy today. Photos that I saw on Twitter kind of made it seem a little light, but it's kind of hard to tell without actually being there. Again, tomorrow I'll be asking a buddy of mine when he gets back in. Hopefully he'll be either on Messenger or on Xbox Live, and I'll speak to him about how things were. Did he have a good time in the crowd? And if Tom Holland actually, I don't think he's seeing Tom Holland, but the reason why Tom Holland's going to only be there on Sundays because, I think this weekend or at least yesterday, Friday the 23rd, and today the 24th, he was at D23, which is I think a Disney-related convention or expo along those lines. And I'll get into Tom Holland and Spidey in a second, but I just wanted to cover, go from something we got at a convention to convention updates on what we're doing, and now this. So, still, I'll get to speak to my buddy to see how busy it was, if Tom Holland actually showed up. Nothing against Tom, but there have been numerous shows where they air quotes here, promised a certain celebrity or promoted a certain celebrity, and at the last minute, we're sorry, he couldn't come. He had certain commitments he had to fulfill. Sorry, he called us and said he had to cancel. By the way, we're refunding all your money that you spent on pre-order tickets for his autograph. So it wouldn't be the first time a show. I'm not saying Keystone has done this, but for a second year convention, Tom Holland is pretty freaking big. It's also something that we might have to speak to like someone like Matt Burns about, to see, get his thoughts on it. And poke Matt Burns to see how he's doing. Apparently he's doing very well. But still, for a second year convention, Tom is pretty big news. Either way, let's kind of move on to the kind of the elephant in the room. And that is the whole Spider-Man is leaving the MCU. And let me put it like this. There has been a lot of confusion, back and forth, rumors. This is, I want to say, has been more of a headache for me than the whole mess of Brie Larson BS that came out like 5 months ago. I should say back in March, February, March. This is the new headache. For those of you who haven't been on the internet and seeing all the memes and been living under a rock only to come out to download this podcast, and for which I thank you for coming out of your hole under that rock to listen to our show. But the thing is, what happened was, apparently, after this second Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Far From Home, Disney decided to renegotiate the deal. And that is, let me step back and explain the deal. The deal was, back in the 80s, Marvel, way before they were owned by Disney, sold the rights to Spider-Man to pretty much Canon Films. The favorite film company of mine that's pretty much defunct. They went bankrupt in like the 90s, early 2000s. I think. But either way, they went bankrupt. They're pretty much no longer in existence right now. And the rights kind of floated back and forth. And overall, I think in one article or one person I heard explain it, saying the rights went back to Marvel and they resold the rights to Sony back in, I think, 98, 99. I want to say, let's go with 98 for the time being, the sake of argument. If you folks at home know the exact date, year that Sony acquired the rights to Spider-Man, please leave a nice little comment down below, depending on the social media site that you are listening, or send us an email at longcoatmafia@gmail.com and let us know. And the total price was $7 million. But the thing was, I think in that deal, they got to keep a lot of the merchandise rights. That way they were able to have the comic book still going and earn money off the comic book. And for years and years, that was the deal. Until Sony stepped up to the plate. I won't say Sony. Disney stepped up to the plate and bought Marvel. And Marvel, I think, at that time, renegotiated the deal and said, okay, here's the deal. You get, for the time being, this was back before Captain America Civil War and all that. They pretty much said, all right, you get, for the Amazing Spidey stuff, okay, here's this. You get to keep all the funds, earnings from the movie. We get the merchandising. Now, when it came to Captain America Civil War, they renegotiated the deal. Because at that time, the movies, like Amazing Spider-Man 2, did not perform as well. They were, like, since the Spider-Man 3 went kind of way down and kind of, they didn't really bomb, but it didn't reach the same numbers as the first movie, or didn't have the same reaction as the first two films. And Amazing Spider-Man did well, and the second one just redlined. It didn't bomb, but it just didn't make the numbers that they really wanted. So this is from what I heard. Marvel came back in, Disney came back in, knocked on Sony's door, and said, "Hey, listen, why not for the next couple of movies? Let's say 5 movies, 6 movies. We do. I think it was a 7-movie total run. We want Spider-Man for 7 movies, but here's the deal: you get there's going to be a 95-5 split, meaning you get 95% of the films. We get 5% only on day one, whatever the day one earnings are. For the exception of on the solo films, you get 95, we get 5. On the everything else, the other movies, we get to keep everything. But I think there might have been a percentage in that too that Sony might have gotten. But the contract was set. It was there for. So Spider-Man came into Civil War. I think it was Infinity War, Endgame, and it was supposed to be 3 Homecoming, Far From Home, and 1 other film. 6 films. Yeah, I think there was supposed to be a 7th, but I'm not sure. But that's pretty much what everybody's been agreeing on was the initial deal. And from what I heard, that with Spider-Man 2, Far From Home, I kept hearing the aspect of if that movie didn't crack $1 billion at the box office total, then the rights will go back to Sony. Everything will go back to Sony. But as of right now, Spider-Man Far From Home has not only cracked 1 million, I should say 1 billion, it hit $1.1 billion and growing. So that was a good deal. Which leads us kind of to today, or this past week. And that has been the aspect of Disney, depending on who you talk to. This is where the confusion sets in, because some say that they stepped up and said that, okay, this is what's going to go happen. We want 50-50. We want 50. We want to control 50% of. We want to fund 50% of the movies. Like if they did Spider-Man 3, whatever the next movie was going to be called. Let's say Spider-Man 3, whatever. Everything past that, this is what we want. We're going to whatever the movie cost. You put up 50%, we put up 50%, and that's what we get from the box office. And everything else remains the same. Sony said, no, we're not going to do that. We like the deal the way it is, but we don't like Kevin Feige, I think his name is. We don't like Kevin. Get him out of there. We don't want him. And pretty much that was it. There was a push out. Now here's, again, the other story was, no, that's not what was told. And also with the other explanations, like, no, then Disney lowered it to 70-30. And again, that was not, again, what was told. Then Sony kind of came out and said, no, that's not the case. There was never a 50-50 deal. It was Disney came to them saying 70-30. And they told us, Disney's the one that told us that Kevin's going to be leaving because he now has the other properties he's now has to deal with and work into the MCU, so forth and so on. But the talks are still open. And that being said, there is, other than talks are still open, is what we've been hearing. And I think the only truth in this matter, or the numbers are kind of true, but with everybody reporting them, kind of, That was the thing. Now, right now it's 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. About 24 hours ago, I heard word that. Now again, this was Friday night, about 24 hours ago. I want to say over 24 hours ago. I was hearing rumors that a deal was reached from Sony and Disney that for more movies. Final numbers were reached. Nothing was going to be anything out there was out. Nothing was put out there. Just that there was rumors. Rumors were out there. Deal was reached. It's going to be announced Saturday. And I figured, hey, if there is a deal, it's going to be announced from the rumors. It's going to be announced at D23. Great thing to put into the show. I'll be talking about the Sony stuff as it is, my thoughts of it, but no announcement. The only announcement that has come out today was the whole aspect of. I will say this before I give that announcement of today's. Word did come out from the aspect of Stan Lee's daughter. A lot of folks are going to go, oh God. But the thing is, Stan Lee's daughter came out and said on the whole split was that, well, Disney and Marvel treated my father poorly, and when he passed away, they didn't even call me to give their condolences. Now, let me just say this. Here is a woman back last year, if not this year, last year, there was a whole mess of rumors stemming about her concerning elder abuse of her father. And a whole mess of community of fans have come out and stated, really, if in regards to one way or another along the spectrum, it's like, they were saying pretty much, you were accused of elderly abusing your father. Why should we listen to you? And there were other fans going, when your father was being elder abused by his manager, where the hell were you? You should have stuck up for your own parent. And so they were like, why should we listen to you with all this, weird, aspect of, let me bring up comicbook.com. And because they have the whole aspect of that's not working. But basically, Tom Holland and I think Kevin Feige came out today saying that bring up comicbook.com because I think they have it up on their Facebook page in regards to it, because it's been making news. I want to at least give you as much accurate information as I can, but for the most part, they're not saying it. I might have to actually dig for this, but they're saying everything is wow. The boss has opened up. Well, you're not giving me an article. Both Tom Holland and Kevin Feige have stated that they feel bad about it. Kevin Feige's response is, "I'm feeling about Spider-Man gratitude and joy." Feige explained to Entertainment Weekly, "We got to make 5 films within the MCU with Spider-Man, 2 standalone films, and 3 Avengers with Avengers. It was a dream that I never thought would happen. It was never meant to last forever. We knew there was a finite amount of time that we were able to do this, and we told the story we wanted to tell, and I will always be thankful for that." Now, the thing is, with these articles that came out about what Tom Holland and Kevin Feige have been saying, some of the articles were saying that Friday, not today. The articles were coming out today, Saturday, the 24th, but they were kind of saying, oh, this was kind of said yesterday. But what about today? Or there was supposed to be rumored announcement today. But if there wasn't any announcement that, again, what was said yesterday was true, then we are going to say goodbye to Spider-Man. Therefore, we're going to be kind of forced again to relive another possible origin story about Spider-Man. And everything comes down to money. That's what this is about, money. A lot of folks are stating that how could Disney do this? They're signing with Sony. Others are signing with Disney. One person brought up the aspect of, I think I saved the photo if my phone speeds up a little bit. It says this. The argument for Sony, not Disney. It says, this is Disney's fault, not Sony's. Remember, Disney owns Marvel Studios. Sony actually covered the production costs of the Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies, not Disney. The contract that Sony and Disney have been working with was Sony gets 90% of the earnings for the Spider-Man movies. That's a little bit incorrect. It's about less than that. They get more than that. The earnings for the new Spider-Man movies, since they still own the copyright to the character, in exchange to Disney's, they own. Here's the thing: what I think this person doesn't really understand, they own the movie copyright, not the like the copyright for the comic books and so forth and so on. So, the one problem that they state is the exact contract Disney and Marvel pitched to Sony back during Andrew Garfield's tenure as Spider-Man, which Sony refused to even humor, so obviously Sony is pissed. Meaning that Sony decided a 90-10% split is enough for the multi-billion-dollar corporation. They wanted to do 50-50, which was the original, apparently the quote-unquote original offer. And Sony got insulted about this, and they're pissed. Negotiations are still on the table. They also say the second problem is Marvel fans and Tom Holland states fans are blaming Sony for their disagreement when the fault falls onto Disney and their greed. That's probably right, but the thing is, one of the things I was expecting to come out of this is a lot of tweets and YouTubers coming out, folks on Twitter and YouTubers saying, this is good that, saying stuff like, this is good that Spider-Man is going back to Sony. As much as the movies will not make as much money, Spider-Man won't be in this woke Marvel MC, this Marvel Cinematic Universe that Marvel is now trying to push. Rabble. So, my guess is, Sony had some success, even though it didn't exceed the $1 billion mark, but had some success in recent years with Venom and Into the Spider-Verse. But here's the thing. My guess is they're going to probably have the aspect of a Last Jedi aspect, which means you're going to have a lot of butthurt fans that are utterly and totally mad at Sony for what they're doing. They don't want another reboot. They don't want Sony, as much as they would love to see Spider-Man fight Venom, but they're going to be like, really? They're going to rehash Spider-Man 3 from the early 2000s? Really? They're going that? We don't want to see that. We don't want to see an emo Spider-Man. We don't want to. But again, if the rumor does hold that Disney is, the deal is done and everything's going back to Marvel. So, that being said, we'll have to see how things fall. Right now, Disney is, whether or not Disney will try to buy the Spider-Man back from Sony, we'll have to see. But the thing is, Sony does do a decent job, unlike what Fox was doing with their properties. Sony tends to do somewhat of a decent job in regards to their movies. Just that right now they're in a bad predicament. They're in this mess of everything. Even there's been word that Tom Holland kind of unfollowed Sony on social media. He's not really interested in being any part of Sony's projects as Spider-Man. Rumors will have to be quashed. I have to know more. Maybe there'll be more tomorrow. I think D23 is a 3-day event. Maybe we'll hear news tomorrow. Maybe because we were hearing news today about still more Marvel stuff. So, and we'll hear more. It could be something that we could be covering next week. I'll try to record because I'm winding down. I'm rambling right now. I think right now an hour episode is a great episode to have right now. That's pretty much everything I am willing to cover or have in my notes to cover. Even though I don't have any notes in front of me, but a lot I wish to cover today. But as for next week's episode, we might have a few updates. I might put up a repeat or say an old Electric Eye episode in regards to everything. I think I know the episode I wish to put up. So it might be it'll be an Electric Eye episode, just that it might be something like we covered, us covering Baltimore Comic Con back in 2008. I'll have to see because I might be going to something on September 2nd. Not 2nd, the 1st. Let me look at the calendar in regards to that. I think it's September. It's that Sunday. Let me get that up. Let's see here. Sorry about this, folks. September 1st. So I don't know how everything is going to fall on September 1st. So I might have an episode prepared that way. All I have to do is post it up, go straight to bed. So we'll have to see. That being said, our social media, in regards to our social media, once again, we are on Facebook. It's facebook.com/The Long Coat Mafia Podcast. If you want to join in the discussion or tell me I'm wrong, and not just tell me I'm wrong, explain to me where I'm wrong, where I was misinformed, what facts that I was off on. You're more than happy to join in the conversation by sending us an email at longcoatmafia@gmail.com or leave a comment on the pinned post on our Facebook page. Again, if things hold true, we're not supposed to tell you that, but either way, you could also leave us a DM on our Twitter or in our Facebook, Instagram. Our Twitter handle is Longcoat Mafia. Our Instagram handle is Longcoat Mafia. While you're on those locations, whether it's Facebook, hit that like button. If it's on Twitter, hit that follow button. If it's Instagram, please hit that follow button. Please do so, because on Twitter we do tend to post up where we've been, what we're doing. So that's a wonderful thing to see. If you want to follow us there, you're more than welcome to. Again, Twitter, Long Coat Mafia. Instagram, Long Coat Mafia. Facebook.com/The Long Coat Mafia Podcast. Please do so. Let's see, what else? We do have a YouTube page. It is, you'll have to search for it. It is a Long Coat Mafia Podcast. The link to it is if you're listening to us, if you found us through our website, thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com. The link is in the description for it. But just, if you go to YouTube, do a search for The Long Coat Mafia Podcast. We are a good chance. Third thing that comes up, it's the channel. And I do suggest hitting that subscribe button and hitting that while you're there. While you're hitting the like button, please go over to our Facebook page and hit that like button there. That way, no matter what, if it's a Facebook exclusive video, but the way Facebook has been acting, I might be putting all our videos on YouTube, because there has been one or two videos that did not want to upload to Facebook. I have another video that I have to upload that I'll try, but for the most part, the last video that we tried to upload to Facebook did not want to finish processing on Facebook. So that might lead me to believe that I should be posting more to YouTube. So that being said, go to YouTube, search for us, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button. If you like what you see, hit the like buttons for the videos there. As we do have a Twitch and a Mixer.com channel. We do stream, I should say, we should be starting streaming again soon, especially once September 13th hits, because that's when Borderlands 3 hits. Our Mixer channel is mixer.com/LCMP, and the letters are capitalized. Link is in the description. And our Twitch channel is twitch.tv/longcoatmafiapod. So, that being said, also finding us, as stated, you can find us on for the most part, as of this kind of recording, it's still kind of considered iTunes, but or Apple Music, or whatever it's being called right now. You can find us on the Apple Music type of aspect of things, whether it's iTunes or Apple Podcasts, on your desktop, wherever Apple is being called on your iTunes is being called on your desktop right now. We're found on there. We're found on iTunes. This is desktop. Remember, folks, we're on iTunes or whatever it's being called now. We're found on Spotify. We're found on Stitcher. We're found, not to mention, on our website. And I recommend bookmarking our website, which again is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com, because you could go all the way back to the beginning of when we started over 4+ years ago, and you can download those episodes or listen to them straight from the website, which means you could stream them from the website, which is awesome. And if you choose to download them, you can do so. And play them in any MP3 player that's on your computer that you choose to play on. Let's see, what else? If you're on mobile, we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, I should say Google Podcasts, Spotify. We're on Stitch Radio. Again, you can also find us on the Podbean app, plus where podcasts are found. Let's see, that seems to be about it. If I miss anything, please let me know. Again, feel free to email us, message us on Facebook. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. So, that's it. Take care. I hope all of you have a great week. And yes, this week, as you could tell, is way shorter than last week. Sorry, not sorry. And special thank you to Drew. I don't know if Drew made it this far, but I'll let him know that he did. I did thank him again. Special thank you from Drew from Extra Life. Do check them out. Links for his the Extra Life will be in the show description. So that's there. So check them out. Follow them on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. If you want to donate, feel free to donate. That's all up to you. Show them some love. And again, see you all next week, or speak to you next week, hopefully. If not, be prepared for a possible rerun with a different type of intro, because we're not allowed to post it up to YouTube. Take care. I am out. So, bye.
You've been listening to the Longcoat Mafia Podcast, the internet's most hated and mafia-themed geek podcast.